This is a mosque already. Because what happened is that after Crusaders lost the country to the most extreme Muslims, the Mamelukes that I mentioned in Akko, these Mamelukes were the most extreme Muslim in one way. They were not Muslims, they were converts to Islam. And I don't know if you know that converts become more extreme than people born in the religion. Because if I'm Jewish, I can even claim I didn't Jewish. I was born, but if you're Jewish, you know that. Until today, the most extreme Israelis in the approach to nationalism are not converts to Judaism. So this Mamelukes, after they come to the country from the Christians, every holy place, it was either holy for Christians or Jews, automatically was proclaimed a holy place for Islam, because Islam can do it. They do not deny any religion before. You understand? For them, Moses is a holy person, and Abraham is a holy person, and Jesus is a prophet. You understand the continuity? So what happened here? From a church, the direction will be this one. Can you see the addition? This is newer. This you find in every mosque is the pointer. The makhrab in Arabic means the pointer, the direction of prayer for Islam. And it's Mecca. From this country happens to be the south. So for many years it was used as a mosque. You understand? And under this we had a synagogue that equally was converted into a mosque. Look at the arabesque. Look at the designs here. It is Arabic. So for many years this was used as a mosque. But there's a whole, this is commemorating the site of the Last Supper, but maybe one more important event happened here that we believe. It looks like after the crucifixion, this place became a center of congregation of the followers of Jesus. And they were meeting here from time to time. The story is that on the Feast of Pentecost, do you know the Pentecost feast? The Pentecost feast in Hebrew is Shavuot. Shavuot in Hebrew means weeks. What do? After the first day of Passover, we start the count. And we count 7 times 7. Now remember, number 7 is a Hebrew number. 7 times 7 is 49. Next day, the 50th day, Moses received the tablets, the Torah on Mount Sinai. In Greek, Penta is 5, the 50th day. And in such a way you find that it looks like the followers of Jesus met here on this holy day, and there was here an event that had a very important connotation, very important influence on Christianity, because Christianity became from this moment on a missionary religion. I don't know if you know, Judaism didn't go to the world to try to convert the people to become Jews. On contrary. What happened here when the disciples met, there was a reappearance, metamorphosis, maybe, of Jesus. And one of the followers did not even believe that this is Jesus, only after 50 days. Did you hear the expression, Thomas the doubter? He wanted to see the holes. But when these disciples walked out of this room, each one talked a different language. So what would be the message? You go to the nations out there and you bring the word of the Lord to these wild people. So it became an international religion from this point on. So equally, the Last Supper and also the event of Pentecost, we believe, happened in the same place, in the same area that became a center of the new group, that what was later on became Christianity. The Last Supper, we all know what happened. It was a Passover celebration. I don't know if you know, Seder at that time did not exist. We didn't have Seder. Seder is something that we started after the temple was destroyed. When the temple was functioning, people go to the Temple Mount, they'll have a celebration. What does Seder means in Hebrew? Order. On the table, what we have on the table is an attempt to reproduce what happened on the Temple Mount when we are practicing sacrificing animals. You put a little piece of chicken, you know what's the symbolism of the little chicken? The sacrifice of animals. So the Seder did not exist because the temple was there. So what kind of celebration is Passover? You sit together with the family to remember those days we eat the unleavened bread, and you tell the story of Exodus. The idea is not to remember that because of God took you out with a strong hand, this is why we are alive here. That's the idea. You repeat it every year. So it was a different kind of celebration than what we have today. You understand what we have today are things that picked up along the way, traditions, but there was no Seder. So people got together. I think that most of the Jewish holidays have one meaning, to keep the family unit together. You understand? Because you're dispersed people. Friday night, Shabbat dinner, the idea is to have this family together, a few dinners, you understand? So this was the idea. We keep the children awake on Passover. in order to see family that comes from all corners of the world. So that's what probably happened here. Again, they were sitting on the floor, eating together, and then what happened from here, the sequence of events is that after they moved from this place here, they were living nearby Mount of Olives. We drove yesterday to put us on Mount of Olives, and it was there where eventually that night Jesus was imprisoned by the guards. It was the Jewish authority, because for the Jewish law, probably the crime, if there was any, was blasphemy. You understand? The question of the high priest is not, hey, did you kill somebody? Did you say that you are the Messiah? You understand? This was the nature of thing. And since the Jews probably didn't want to go to, we had a limited autonomy here. The masters were the Romans. Probably to get rid of responsibility, it's better to give the case to the higher authority. And when the Romans already asked Jesus, they didn't ask, are you the Messiah? Remember, the question was, did you say that you are king of the Jews? The word king was used. King is an authority. You understand? And in such a way, there are two different issues here. King is a political crime already for the Romans, and this is the whole thing started rolling from this point on. One more thing to tell you, probably what happened here, described in the New Testament, happened within a few days and not in one night. It's impossible. I'll tell you why. You are here, remember Passover night is a long night. You drink 4 cups of wine and you tell the story and you ask questions and you more. So what is it, 11, 12 midnight? To walk from here to Mount of Olives, unlike today with the bus, it's 5 minutes. It will be a couple of hours. That night, the guards come in. There is a fight there. Peter pulls a saber. They imprison Jesus. They bring him to the high priest. During the night, the holiday night, what couldn't it wait for the next day? There are 3 hearings, not one. It's not so simple. And then they decide to hand him to the Roman authorities. There are 3 hearings by the Romans. Because the procurators is smart. They said, how am I going to mishmash me with these Jewish things? I mean, if I crucified Mike or Levi, who cares? Jesus had a group of
I have life insurance, no problem.
So we crucified a couple of Jews. I don't even know, there are 9,000 Jews that were crucified around that time here. I mean, crucifixion, it was a punishment with humiliation. And no, the procedures were 3.5 minutes. We think today of a tribunal. So Pontius Pilate is smart. He said, I crucified this guy, that, that. Jesus had a group of followers. That's why he stirred up the whole revolution. So remember, he tries to get rid of the revolution. And he sent it to Antipas. It was the king in the Galilee, the son of Herod the Great. He says, you handle the situation, because this Jesus is not from Judea, he is a Galilean. He identified the accent. This guy hears the whole issue. He said, why should I be the bad guy now? So he sent it back to Pontius Pilate. There are 3 hearings. And eventually they are on the cross at 9 o'clock in the morning. You ask yourself, how? How could all this happen within 10 hours? So it's possible that these things happen within a couple of days. And when the New Testament was written, they put it as though it happened in a few days, because the New Testament was documented only 34 years later on. Until that time, now 2 years, so it falls as though it was a month secret, but that's it. Practically, it's impossible. So, no more the last time. This is a very important place for one Christian group, Pentecostals. Remember, people that speak in tongues, because this is where people start talking in strange languages. So this is a very important place for this specific group. Sure, we can take pictures. Don't ask me what the table was. Somewhere here, facing the east.